Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Film Club Podcast, where every month we deep dive into different aspects of cinema, directors, genres, actors, or franchises. It doesn't matter because it's always fun at the Film Club. I'm Dean.
I'm Becky.
And new month, new theme. And this month we are talking about
film noir.
And to kick off this month, we're talking about the first American noir. We're talking about
The Maltese Falcon.
That's right, The Maltese Falcon, directed by John Huston, starring Humphrey Bogart. This movie is considered the first American noir film, and it's a stone cold classic.
It is.
So Noir Month. You are the architect of Noir Month. You want to talk about noir films?
I do, and more surprisingly to ourselves, we've never done a noir month.
Correct. We have talked about noir films for other theme months. You know, we did a
Bogart month.
We did a Bogart month that had Big Sleep, Treasures on the Sierra Madre in it. We've I feel there's more. Well, Under the Silver Lake is kind of a neo-noir, which we've done before.
Yes.
We like noir movies.
We do. This relationship was kind of built on noir.
Yes. You know, she bumped into me at the train station, and it was raining, and I was in my trench coat.
That's how you tell it to everybody.
That is how I tell it to everybody,
yes.
Sweetheart. But yeah, we both really love noirs. Mm-hmm. We love talking about old noir movies. Noir is your favorite topic of photography.
I mean, I did a whole project when I was taking film classes. I did my own film noir through the streets of Fullerton on 35 millimeter. It was awesome. It came out so good.
It did. Post some of those up on our stories.
Maybe.
But again, the point of the month, I guess, in broad scopes, the question we want to answer, is noir a genre or is it a film movement, mm-hmm. right? Because noir, the peak of noir, the noirs everyone thinks about, the most popular noirs come out in the 40s and the 50s, and they kind of disappear in the 60s because that's, you know, wartime, post-war Americana, this darker tone of storytelling, the anti-hero, you know, the urban sprawl. That's the birthplace of noir mm-hmm. films. And then there's also the thing is, does a film, can you mimic that in the modern day, you know, with the femme fatales and
mm-hmm.
then the harsh shadows and the smoking and the Bogart voices, you know,
Venetian blinds.
The Venetian blinds. Is it a genre? Is it a
hot
movement?
Cups of coffee.
The black coffee, the darkest coffee. But where best to start then with The Maltese Falcon.
Yes.
It's widely considered the first film noir, or at least the first American film noir, because there's movies that are inspiring to it, like
mm-hmm.
M by Fritz Lang in 1931. There's some stuff coming out of Germany and Italy that are kind of noir-esque, but they're not really. If you looked at them now, you would say that kind of looks like a film noir, but it's not all put together. This is
mm-hmm.
the first movie that kind of throws it all together, puts a really convoluted mystery plot in there and a bunch of good actors and just hopes for the best.
And this is the third, not installment, but the third version of this movie, because The Maltese Falcon was made 3 times before we get the Stone Cold Classic. Yeah,
which is really, really weird, because the movie is based on the book The Maltese Falcon by Dashiell Hammett, which comes out in 1931. Mm-hmm. Right, and the first film adaptation, The Maltese Falcon, comes out in 1932, like a year afterwards, right? And then there's like a romantic comedy version that comes out like 5 or 6 years after that.
The screwball comedy comes out. The first one's kind of more a romance story. Mm-hmm. Then we get the screwball comedy, and then we get the final one where it's, let's just follow what's in the book, guys.
Okay, yeah, let's follow what's in the book, but I mean, I've read the book before.
Yes.
Have you? Or I know you were reading it.
I'm currently in the process of reading it.
Okay. I'm going to throw it out there. It's a great book. It's a fun book. I love old mystery stories. I love pulp, you know,
yes.
two-fisted action detective stories. It's good shit. The Maltese Falcon, like The Big Sleep, the plot is like almost secondary to the cool shit that their characters get up to. Mm-hmm. I've seen The Maltese Falcon, this film, 5 times, maybe. Mm-hmm. Each time I'm like, man, this movie makes less sense than the last time I watched it, but god damn it looks so fucking cool.
Doesn't need to make sense.
It kind of, it's almost like...
We don't even get to see the bird until the very last 10 minutes of the movie.
Yes, the Maltese Falcon is the Hannibal Lecter
Mm-hmm.
of this movie. It's on screen for 15 minutes. Its impact is immeasurable. But I digress. The Maltese Falcon. When was the first time you watched this movie? Like, where did this come
God.
from?
I must have been.
Back in the TCM days?
Yeah. I have a feeling like around the time that I saw Universal Monsters, I must have seen the Maltese Falcon. So I must have been around 6, 7.
Really?
Yeah.
That early?
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of these movies, there's no real, gore, violence. I mean, there's violence, but I mean, there's like, no copious amounts of blood, no sex.
This is back in the day when somebody would get shot and they would just kind of like,
They'd fall over, yeah.
Jump up stiff and fall over like dead.
Yeah, so, my parents, having Turner Classic movies on for me wasn't a weird thing because these are classics. They're not going to do anything, oh my God, I'm going to have nightmares from this. If anything, this kind of, built my foundation on my love for film.
That's really interesting because I guess that gets into the whole thing where noir movies for like a long time were considered like, no, those are like adult films.
Yeah.
Those are the movies for like, the old man to go out and have a
They're
cigarette.
risque.
They're risque. They're talking about, thieving and like drinking and fighting and stuff like that. And now they're so like pedestrian. They're like kids movies.
Yeah, it's something that you can show your kids, and your kids are going to be entertained sitting there and, okay, well, what is the Maltese Falcon? Oh, it's treasure. He's trying to find the treasure. This is awesome. I can't. Cool cars.
I'm not going to lie. All right. The attention span of the modern child could not stand the Maltese Falcon.
No. Even if you put it on their tablet, I don't think they could hang.
If we need to condense the Maltese Falcon into like YouTube shorts, and then kids would really get into it. You would put that AI music behind it and like smooth out Humphrey Bogart a little bit with some AI, and boom, this would be like the biggest thing on YouTube.
I mean, he smiles a good amount in this movie.
He does that charming Humphrey Bogart smile. Why does my Bogart impression sound like Peter Griffin? It's
Peter
so fucking
Griffin,
bad.
and then it's like you're trying to pull towards Jimmy Stewart because that's your safety.
Jimmy Stewart. I can do a good fucking Jimmy Stewart, all right, but for some reason I'm pulling right into fucking Peter Griffin.
You're gonna have to work on it.
It's so fucking bad.
Now I could hear it now that you mentioned it.
Now you can mention that it's not Humphrey Bogart. It's Peter Griffin trying to do a Jimmy Stewart.
Am I gonna have to work on my Peter?
Yes, please. Ladies and gentlemen, next month we're going to go through the Family Guy movie, Stewie Griffin, The Untold Story. But the Maltese Falcon. Yeah,
yes.
The Maltese Falcon. So you saw this like really, really young.
Yeah, I
right?
saw this at a young age. What about you?
This movie, I saw it for the first time when I put together the AFI Top 100, like my physical library of it, right? Which was like,
while we were dating.
This might have been like 2023, I believe.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you saw this.
No.
Way back, like when I did.
Oh no. This is a fun fact about Dean. So I've watched a bunch of movies. Like since I was a kid, parents were like, we work full time, sit in front of the TV, shut the fuck up and give us time. So I've seen a bunch of films, but like classic cinema was just beyond me because it, stuff from the 40s and the 50s didn't play on like TV. So if I couldn't like get a hold of like a physical copy, I just wouldn't see it. I didn't see Taxi Driver till I was in college.
Same with Scarface.
Same with Scarface. I didn't see till I was like in college, stuff like that. But I saw like Predator when I was really young because that played on like TV all the time, or like RoboCop because my dad was a red-blooded American man that lived during the 80s. So of course we had Predator, the last movie, RoboCop, had that shit on lock. But I saw this when I put together the AFI Top 100 like in like physical media. I had all the DVDs and put them together, and I was going through watching each and every one of them. That's when I was going to do the Film Odyssey podcast. We made it 20 deep, and we're like, all right, well, c'est la vie, and we stopped doing it.
R.I.P.
But I kept watching through it, and I got to the Maltese Falcon, and I watched it, and the first time I saw it, I was like, this movie doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but it's like really cool. And I was like, okay, well, it's kind of like Singing in the Rain. Singing in the Rain doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it's like so much fun and so pretty. You just fucking vibe with it. But the Maltese Falcon, I kept going back to, like, maybe every like 6 months since then, I'd be like, I'm bored, I'm gonna put it on. And every time my grip on what's actually happening in the movie, the plot of the narrative gets a little looser, and I kind of like lose track of what the fuck's going on, because there's like 15 different betrayals. There's like a treasure hunt that's also like total bullshit, and then there's like there's 2 people that die off screen in this movie that are vital to the plot, and I'm like, who the fuck are they?
But does it really matter though?
But yeah, exactly. But it doesn't really matter, because Humphrey Bogart is fucking killing it. Peter Lorre is fucking great. Elijah Cook is so much fun, and Green Street is like a great villain, and Bogart's femme fatale,
Mary Astor.
Mary Astor is like, well, she's no Lauren Bacall, but like, okay,
No.
I could get behind the lying and the cheating dames. This is some good shit. Like, I kind of just keep falling in love with this movie the more I watch it. This is my 5th or 6th time seeing it. I'm gonna keep adding a number onto this, because I'm pretty sure I've seen this 5 times, but whatever. The 12th time seeing it, I'm like, man, I just really dig this movie, and I kind of
has that vibe.
Yeah, like, I think that's the thing about these old Hollywood movies, is they just have a vibe that kind of washes over you after a while, and it's so comforting, and it's so like fun and loose, and this is almost a testament to what a movie star can do.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Bogart wasn't a movie star really before this, and he became a movie star after this. Before this, he was, a heavy bit player. He's a bad guy. He made 15 movies a year.
It's like Karloff with Frankenstein. He had been, in Hollywood for such a long time, doing so many projects, and it's that one film that finally catapults you. All those years of putting in that work, and it's just that one story that finally gets you there.
The one movie that figures out your star power.
Yeah.
Like, what you can do as an actor, that's like, okay, people will pay money to see you do this. And this is like a testament to it, where it's just like, I could watch fucking Humphrey Bogart just roll cigarettes and like rattle off some fucking nonsense until the cows come home. It is so fucking captivating.
Yeah.
And that's the thing in the movie. The Maltese Falcon is an incredibly captivating movie that makes almost no sense. But we'll get into that. Because the Maltese Falcon, it begins with the Star Wars scroll.
Yes, because we have to establish what's going on in the story.
Yeah.
Why the Falcon is so, important.
Yeah, and I love how it is just like this text scroll over this like really like shadowy statue of this falcon, and it's like
that we've seen in person.
We have seen in person, because it still exists at the Warner Brothers lot.
Yes.
Yeah, they have it in the prop house, which you can rent out as far as I know.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you could rent out the birds, because I know some of the stuff in there you're not allowed to...
I take off the lot.
Yeah,
right?
Which is understandable. I mean, some of these, this is from 1941, so it makes total sense. That one light sconce that they have from Casablanca, stuff, I understand like that. But if you do want to see, a piece of, movie history, go take one of the tours at Warner Brothers. The part of it is they take you through the prop house, and then you see the Maltese, or a couple of the Maltese Falcons. You see the globe that's used in the Casablanca marketing with Ingrid Bergman. No.
Ingrid Bergman, you got it.
I got it? Okay, good.
Yeah, no, Ingmar Bergman's the one I like.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
Makes sense. But yeah, we've seen that, and then you're able to walk some of the streets where the movie was filmed. You go past some of the sound stages where the movie was filmed, which is... Do you want to say it?
The stuff dreams are made of.
Yeah.
We're going to get into the stuff dreams are made of. But yeah, the movie opens, and it explains, like in this text scroll, what the Maltese Falcon is. Because in 15-something or whatever, the King of Spain wanted a jewel-encrusted bird sent to him from the island of Malta. They sent it. It gets captured by pirates.
As you do. Who doesn't want a jewel-encrusted bird?
Exactly. But they steal this not giant, it's like, a little 12-foot tall falcon statue covered in gems, and it gets stolen and it disappears into history. And people are searching for the Maltese Falcon, right? And we're like, oh, okay, so that's cool. But then the movie actually gets started with Sam Spade, played by Humphrey Bogart, hanging out in his office, and a girl comes in, Mrs. Wonderly.
Yes.
And she comes in and she wants Sam and his partner
Miles Archer
to track down her sister, who is being held up by somebody named Thursby, right? Thursby is really important. He's one of the vital characters that gets murdered off screen in this movie. And she wants him to follow Thursby and track down where he's holding her sister. Cool, whatever. They take on the case. She's paying a lot of money. And in the process, Miles gets murdered by somebody. And then the next day, and then Thursby ends up dead too. And Sam's like, who killed Miles? And they're like, well, did you kill Miles? Because you're cheating on his wife?
I mean, you're cheating with his wife.
Or yeah, you're cheating with his wife. Did you kill Thursby because he killed Miles? And Sam Spade is now kind of caught in the middle of this murder plot.
And the further we get in, we figure out that it's not the first time that the police and the DA have tried to pin murderers on Sam.
Yes.
So he's like, let me get to work on this and figure this out before you lock me up for no reason.
Yeah, because it seems like Sam, I guess this is a point to talk about, right? Because I'm just going to throw it out there, everybody. Explaining the beat by beat of the Maltese Falcon is a little difficult, simply because there's a lot of moving parts, it's in the novel too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of moving parts of the story, and the major beats are difficult to parse out because a lot of things twist and betrayal, and things that seem really important turn out to not be. So, news ahead, we're going to gloss over some shit. But let's talk about this here. Sam Spade, right? The DA, the police, think he is like not a bad guy, right? They think he's this no-down, dirty, PI who'll do anything for money. And we kind of see that they're not wrong. He takes on Wonderly, who has no real reason to have Thursby traced, because they figure out pretty quickly that she's full of shit, but her money's good. And he is
cheating with, his partner's wife.
Cheating on his partner's wife. Yeah, he's literally like, Miles's wife is having an affair with Sam under his nose, and he kind of blows her off to be with Miss Wonderly, who's also lying. Her name's O'Shaughnessy or something.
Yeah, Brigid O'Shaughnessy.
Yeah, and it's a thing where, is Sam a good guy? Because I don't think he is.
I mean, I really love his character, but I mean, Sam, he's a little sus.
He's a little sus. It's almost like a thing where he's one of the first examples of like an anti-hero in American cinema, because 41, we still are in the white hat, black hat, bad guys, good guys archetype. Where there's John Wayne and Stagecoach, and there's still a lot of like clear defined good guys, bad guys. He's a very early example of a guy who is objectively not a good person, but he is on a righteous quest to find out who killed his partner. Because that's really his driving force throughout this. He doesn't care about the Falcon. He wants to know who killed Miles.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No,
right,
no,
cool.
You're on the right path.
I'm on the right path. I'm tracking this.
It's just, since the plot's so thin, that's why it's easy to kind of, explain what's going on and show he's also trying to clear his name too.
Yeah.
He wants to know, but he also wants to be like, hey, it wasn't me, and let me give you the pieces of evidence, because you're probably just going to say, oh, well, they're partners. It's easy to just lock them up and we're done. No, no detective work needed. Just lock up Sam.
Yeah, and they're still trying to track, and throughout the movie, the police are trying to track down the weapon, so they know, so they can pin it on whoever has the weapon, because they're like, once we find the gun, we know who did it, right? And they're searching Sam's apartment. They come up with nothing, and Wonderly, who turns out to be Brigid O'Shaughnessy, because Sam parses out again pretty quickly that she's full of shit. And that she is, like, her name is really O'Shaughnessy. It's not Wonderly. And she lied because Thursby was her business partner. And he was going to cut her out of a major deal over the Maltese Falcon, right? And she wanted Miles to tail Thursby to find out, like, what's he doing? Who's he going to cut me out on? What's happening? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And she wants Sam to protect her, because she's like, hey, whoever killed Thursby and Miles is probably going to come after me next, and I need you to protect me. And this is when there's a little bit of a romance that starts to happen between the two. Romance, quote unquote.
I mean, you better not sneeze when that happens, because, you blink and it's just, oh, what, now they're into each other? They just met like a few hours ago.
That's the other thing, because the movie wants to hang its hat on, oh, well, they're in love. You know, they've fallen for each other.
And it's like, how?
Right?
I have a case. Cool, I'll help you. Oh, you're a liar. Well, I kind of love you. And then, comedy ensues. And it's just like, huh?
Because it's a thing where they don't have any real, like, romantic interactions. It's all business.
It's not like The Big Sleep where you're able to see the characters meet and, there's chemistry and there's, hints at a romantic relationship by the end of the movie.
There's that pitter-patter dialogue where they meet at the garden and they're like, oh, what are you doing here? It's like, well, I'm here to, see your father. You sure you're not here to see me? Mm-hmm. Well, I'd like to. There's no, like, pitter-patter, and there's no, like, kind of playing off of each other. It's almost the thing where Shaughnessy, right, that character, she's not a femme fatale, really, but she is almost a prototype for what that archetype is going to be. A femme fatale is somebody who's like, oh, it's a woman who has like a lot of sexual power in the relationship, and she's getting the hero to do things because of that, and she is just leading him into danger, where she's a woman of lies and scandal and whatever. And Shaughnessy is almost like, I'm a damsel in distress, but really I'm a liar who's trying to get you to do things for me because I'm preying on your sense of morality.
That's a good way to put it, that she's like the prototype of the femme fatale, because the femme fatale title will evolve as noirs, become more popular with history. We really get the, oh yeah, you are the woman that's in charge. And with her, it's more that she's a compulsive liar. So it's like, I know that you're the femme fatale of this movie, but it's just, I'm so focused on what lie are you going to come up with next?
Yeah, because
instead of, her scheming or, oops, she has the gun in her hand. She's obviously the killer. No, she just found the gun and she was just holding on to it. And now, this guy that was interested in her thinks, she's the killer. But with this, it's just, lie after lie after lie.
And she's the reason why it's kind of hard to follow certain things, because everything that comes out of her mouth is 90% bullshit, right? And it is nice in like the movie sense because it allows everything to be a mystery. Everything is second guessed.
We're able to spin out, trying to figure out, is it this? Is this the truth? And then we figure out, no, that's another lie.
Yeah, and it also like helps propel Sam even farther onto the case, because he's like, this woman wants me to protect her from people who are after her, but she won't be honest with me. But there are two dead men like around her, so she's telling the truth that she's in danger, but she's not being honest as to really why she's in danger. So I need to figure out what that is, because that's going to help figure out why my partner died. And then this is kind of when we get introduced like the rest of the gangs of misfits here. The first one we get to meet is Peter Lorre's Joel Cairo.
Yes.
And sidebar here, Peter Lorre, fucking marvelous actor.
Yes.
Like, just phenomenal. From Fritz Lang's M, back when he was still like making movies in Germany, to like
Casablanca,
to Capra's
Arsenic and Old Lace.
Like the guy has like a pretty phenomenal like pedigree as an actor.
And this is the beginning of him and Bogart on their journey together.
Yeah, because they were in a few movies together.
Yeah, and it was just this thing where they just had that spark and that friendship, and it would just, put them in a movie together and it's going to be gold.
Well, because, again, talking about like the star power of people, right? Humphrey Bogart, Sam Spade. This is the archetype that he is going to embody for pretty much the majority of his career, right? Because how much difference between Sam Spade and Reg from Casablanca really is there? Right.
Just, a white tuxedo jacket.
Yeah, because the Bogart thing, he's this kind of jaded, like street-wise tough guy who's a little bit smarter than the guys around him, but he's still not afraid to, like throw hands. But he's going to try and use his mind to figure out the problem, right? And then you have Peter Lorre here, who is this, when we first see Joel Cairo, right? He's this kind of effeminate, kind of sleazy, slimy guy who you can tell is double speaking and is just wants to like get Sam in a position where he can't say no.
Yeah.
Right? He's trying to wheel and deal, and when the money's not good enough, he goes for the gun.
And I love that Sam knocks him out, and he's like, well, you're trying to hold me up, and you were going to tear apart my office. Well, I knocked your ass out, and I'm going to look through all your shit.
I love how Sam Spade is just able to knock everyone unconscious in one punch in this movie.
He's got some heavy dukes.
This man is a better heavyweight than Mike Tyson, and he's 5'4". I swear to God.
Was he really that short?
Humphrey Bogart?
Yeah.
He was not tall. He was maybe 5'6", if I'm being honest.
I'm gonna have to look it up now.
Yeah, you look that up. But while you do that, I want to know, because there's a thing about Joel Cairo, right?
Yes.
In the book, it's very it's very obvious that his character is gay. He's homosexual in the books.
Yeah, and because of, this time in Hollywood.
1941, the production code's in order. You couldn't have characters that were openly gay in film. And it's an added thing where that's why the script for this is like so good, because a lot of things are very like subtly done, double entendre and visuals. I mean, I think it's no accident of how he's handling his cane when he's talking to Sam Spade, where he's just kind of like rubbing the tip of his cane on his lips as he's talking and be like, Mr. Spade, I think we could come to some sort of arrangement to get you to find the Falcon for me. As it's not subtle.
You got to work on your Peter Lorre, but you're getting there.
Rick, what do you want from me?
Okay.
I could pull a Peter Lorre out of my ass. Don't
even
tempt me here.
Even better. But it is a thing where his character was gay, and it was just kind of done in the production notes that he just has to be more effeminate.
Yeah.
And I mean, it would be interesting. I mean, not that we want a remake of the Maltese Falcon. We don't need it in the day and age where we're just remaking every single thing. But it would be interesting to see him, as he was written.
I'm sorry, Pot. Kettle wants to say the Maltese Falcon is a remake.
It is a remake, but it's like we finally got
the
good one. Do not remake it again.
But yeah, I just think the Joel Cairo character is interesting in that sense, because this is, again, an era of Hollywood where openly gay characters just weren't really a thing in mainstream Hollywood films. And also how the implication of him being gay and how they write that is like really like fascinating and well done. And it's also a thing where Joel Cairo doesn't come off as an offensive gay stereotype, which is another thing that's like interesting about this, because they're not doing like over the top like lispy voices and like they're not making a joke out of him. Joel Cairo is still like a dangerous like international criminal. He's not like somebody who's like gonna be a wimp or whatever. He holds Sam Spade he holds Sam Spade at gunpoint, and he's like going through the process, and he's like, I will just kill you. I don't
he's like, I don't really care. No, he's like, I don't know who you are. I need what I need, and I'll take you out if I have to.
Yeah, and it again, I just love Peter Lorre.
No, like, Peter Lorre is a phenomenal actor. But sidebar, Humphrey Bogart was 5'8", so he was an inch taller than me.
Wow, short king.
So I could still look up at him and be like, just marvel at him. But now I'm gonna look up how tall Peter Lorre is, because I think Peter Lorre is a little bit a little bit shorter than Bogart.
Yes, this is what we have gotten the boo on in this episode is heights of actors.
I'm on a quest. I'm sorry.
Well, while you do that,
Peter Lorre was 5'3".
Wow, short king,
but he demanded so much when he was on the screen.
Yeah, well, again, I'm talking about his introduction and him in the Maltese Falcon specifically. He is a compelling screen presence.
Yeah, you go back to like Arsenic and Old Lace. He is basically the henchman to the bad guy in the movie. But it's just Peter Lorre's star power, his charisma, his acting chops. You can't, not take your eyes off of him.
Yeah,
he demands your presence, and it's like, I want to give you my presence because I want to know what you're going to do next or what you're going to say next.
It also helps that he had the most distinctive bug eyes in Hollywood until Steve Buscemi came around.
And a unique voice, too.
Yeah, well, he's speaking English with a German affect that he cannot get rid of because, again, he was a German actor for like many, many years before he came to America.
But, I mean, it's up there with like, Bogart's voice.
Yeah.
Very unique voice.
Yeah, well, Bogart's voice was from A Pack of Camels a Day. Also,
It is what it is.
If you want to quit smoking or drinking, do not watch The Maltese Falcon.
No, and that was a thing that Jack Warner had a problem with in this movie, was how much smoking was being done. And I immediately...
In 1941?
Well, immediately my brain
Back then
went...
they thought smoking cured cancer.
Exactly, and that's what my brain went to, because, now when you watch a movie, even if you watch something on Disney Plus, at the top of the screen, they'll give you, hey, warning, there's smoking in this movie. And I'm like, huh? Like, that, you're really going to warn me that I'm going to see someone smoking? And I'm like, we grew up with these movies where, yeah, there's obviously someone smoking. So when I read that, I was like, oh, Jack Warner's worried about, smoking health? No, it was a thing that there was so much smoking in this movie. He was worried that people were going to start jonesing during the screenings.
People were going to start getting fits.
And they were going to have to go out into the lobby and go take a smoke break. And they were going to be missing vital parts of the movie. And I'm like...
Vital parts of the movie?
I'm
what the fuck do you mean?
I'm like, that makes sense.
The Maltese Falcon is such a vibe. I could pop out for 5 minutes, come back and be like, you know what? I'm on my third fucking
I don't want to miss that 5
Let's
minutes. Go. I don't. I want to be there. I just want to sit there and vibe, and I want to be in, that movie.
I just love that so much, where he's just like, this movie makes smoking look so cool. We were going to start having fucking nicotine fits or whatever. Also, it's 1941. I'm pretty sure you can still smoke in theaters in 41.
I don't know.
Whatever.
I wasn't there.
Besides the point, Joel Cairo gets introduced, Sam Spade knocks his ass unconscious and steals his gun. That's a thing that happens a lot, is the symbolic thing of Sam Spade emasculating men by stealing their pistols.
Yes.
And no better is that shown than the next one of the goons he meets, which is played by Elijah Cook Jr., who we've seen a few times on the podcast.
We have. I was very happy to see him again, now that I know him from something else.
Yeah, House on Haunted Hill. He's in The Killing. He's in a few movies we've talked about.
But he plays Wilmer Cook in this movie.
Yes, and Wilmer is supposed to be the young, hotshot, like tough guy. He's the
gunslinger.
He is the gunslinger. He has like the 245 pistols, and he's like tracking Sam through the streets.
I love when Sam de-arms him.
Oh yeah, it's great when he just like pulls his jacket down and pins his arm and pulls his guns out, and it's great.
And walks him into the hotel room with both guns against his back. I'm like, fuck yeah, Sam.
Yeah, but again, to the Wilmer character, right? Because he's introduced by tailing Sam after Sam's done a little bit of investigation, and Sam is able to give him the slip, and it's this scene where it's very classic noir. Oh, our PI is being tailed by some hoodlum, and he's got to like shake him off, and it's classic film noir tropes, and it's classically shot, and it's a really fun, engaging scene. But it also shows that how Wilmer is following him is he's bumping into people. He's not very subtle. It's because Wilmer's a thug. He's not he's not a crafty thief like Joel Cairo.
He's not a hitman.
He's not a hitman. He's some guy that God, what's his fucking name? Gutman hired probably off the street to be like, you're a tough guy who will do what I say, and you're gonna like follow this guy around. And Wilmer is a character that's kind of a hothead. He's short-tempered. He's quick
constantly
to anger,
pulling the pistols out.
Any chance he gets, he pulls his pistol out, and no one gives him any respect. This guy is the original Rodney Dangerfield. He cannot get respect.
Can't get no respect.
Can't get no respect. Can't get a drop of it. And Sam Spade just keeps fucking poking him. The best lines of insulting dialogue gets directed at Wilmer, and it is great. But
I had to take, a single note, just put my favorite quote of the movie, because obviously the big quote of the movie is my favorite one, and we don't get that till like the last 5 minutes of the movie.
It might be the last spoken line of dialogue.
Yeah, and it's like, when I watched it last night, I was like, it really is that long until we hear it, but we see it on everything. Anytime the movie's talked about, marketed, we see that line.
Yeah.
But I had to take note of my favorite line. You're a good man, sister.
Yes. Where another level of demasculation, which is a thing in this movie where it's Sam Spade there is a theme of demasculation going into this movie where Sam Spade is like, he doesn't need a gun to be a tough guy. He doesn't need a gun to be a man, right? Joel Cairo needs the gun. Elijah Cook Jr. needs 2 guns. And it's like he's demasculating these guys, taking them down.
He says that to Effie. He doesn't say it to
Elijah Cook?
So he doesn't say it to Elijah Cook. He says it to Effie. I'm just saying, with the dialogue, because this is noir, so we have a lot of great one-liners.
Yeah.
But that was like my favorite one that I just wanted to make a mental note on, because like, he's on the phone with her and he's like, "You're a good guy, sister." And I was just like, that's a good one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Sam is constantly just tearing Cook down.
Yeah, he's tearing down Wilmer
and
in
he's gonna explode.
a lot of ways. Wilmer is straight up like, "You keep riding me like this, I'm gonna shoot you." And he's like, "Kid, I'm not riding you. If I was, you'd know it." And it's like just layers and layers of Wilmer just getting put down by like everyone in the movie.
Yeah.
And it's the thing, Elijah Cook Jr., we've seen him later on the podcast and doing other film roles, and he always gets cast as this kind of like haggard, put down, like wimpy character who's just kind of has been shit on by life, and he's just trying to make the best of it. He if there was a live action Simpsons, he would play Old Gil. He would play Old Gil.
I'm just trying to catch a break, guys.
I'm just trying to catch a break. But in this, he's like, young and playing like the street tough, like gangster or whatever. The hothead. But it's so hard to take him seriously because he is so young compared to everyone else in this movie.
He's so young, and Sam is just, dressing him down every opportunity he gets.
Exactly. And Wilmer can't get anybody's respect. But eventually, we get Sam's disarming him as Wilmer finally is like, "Look, my boss needs to see you. I know I've been following you, but my boss needs to see you," right? Sam takes his gun, and this is when we finally get to meet the mastermind behind all of what's going on. We get to meet Gutman, who's played by
Sidney Greenstreet.
Sidney Greenstreet, right? He gets a Best Supporting Actor nomination for this role.
Wow.
And
I mean, he does a good job.
He does a phenomenal job here because he has such... we're talking about movie star quality and screen presence is a big part of this. He has such screen presence. He is this he's a big guy.
He's physically, yes.
He's a 300-pound, 6 foot something guy who has this kind of like booming voice, and he's so jovial and he's happy. And he's a guy that looks like the most average Walmart man you can imagine, but he seems so like just intimidating because he's so much smarter than he lets on, and you can kind of tell. And it might be that slight English transatlantic accent doing a lot of work on this, but he seems like so in control. He never seems to sweat either. Sam's in there, he's yelling, throwing glasses down, telling him, "Oh, leave me alone, blah blah." And this guy doesn't even flinch. He's there smoking his fucking cigar, smiling. He's like, "I've been hunting the blah, 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 for this and that."
For 17 years.
Yes, I've been hunting the Maltese Falcon for 17 years, and you are not even the scariest detective I've encountered in the last 5. And that's the thing. Because this whole movie really is the struggle between Sam Spade and Gutman and Shaughnessy's lies. That's what this is, right? Because Sam wants to find out who killed his partner, Miles.
Yeah.
And Gutman is the prime suspect because he's the one who's like, "I've been searching for the Maltese Falcon for 17 years. I'm so close." And Mrs. Shaughnessy and Thursby, they knew where it was. And Shaughnessy's like, "I had no idea where it was." Thursby knew, and now he's dead. And Shaughnessy is kind of, she can't be trusted because she's lied so much at this point. The seeds of her deception have been laid all the way up to meeting Gutman, which happens like maybe the midway through the movie, 40 minutes into the movie. And Sam has to figure out a way to corner Gutman to get him kind of like trapped somewhere with everybody so he can like get Gutman put away for Thursby's murder because he knows he did it.
Yeah.
But he also has to find a way to get Shaughnessy to tell the truth so that he could find out what actually happened.
Yeah.
And that's the dichotomy of what's going on. The whole movie is really this story of greed and betrayal. And that's a thing that John Huston goes back to later with the Treasures of the Sierra Madre, right? It's a thing he goes back to kind of a lot. And it's like, I wonder, like, I wonder if that's why this attracted John Huston so much to the project, because this is his first film. He was a screenwriter before this, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, we talked about John Huston films
We
before.
have. I didn't know that. I mean, what a way to start off your filmography with the Maltese Falcon.
We will talk about another directorial debut that came out the same year later on.
Okay.
But the thing is like, I really think that's why this movie works so well, is because this is something that John Huston seems to be really interested in, is the themes of greed and betrayal. What humans would do for money,
Yeah.
and what humans are willing to lie about to just get ahead, or just to like not get in trouble, even if it's like, in this one, like the punishment is like, oh, you're lying about killing a man, but it's like, you really have to lie about everything.
It's like, you're having an affair with your partner's wife.
Yeah.
Your partner who you see every day and work with. Like,
not good. There's no good people in this movie. And I think that's why it's so interesting, because there's no like wholly good individual. Everyone is a
Effie?
bad guy. Yeah, Effie might be, but Effie is like a side character that is like complicit with all of Sam's lies, because she knows what's going on. She has to know what's going on with everything else, but she's just complicit in all. She is like a guilty observer. And I think that's why this movie is so like thematically interesting, is because there's no good guys. And I think that's something that noirs later on really bite down on, is we can make movies where there's no good people. We can make movies with anti-heroes, with darker themes that look more into like human nature. And I think that's like the lasting legacy of the Maltese Falcon that really opened Hollywood's eyes that, wait, we can fucking do this and make some fucking money? Oh my God, let's go. But again, I digress, because the movie keeps going.
yeah.
There's still like another hour of movie left to this. And yada yada, a bunch of people get shot, and there you go. But yeah, because after Sam meets Gutman and he gets the lowdown of what's going on, then this is when Sam knows the game. He needs to find the Maltese Falcon, and that way he'll be able to corner Gutman to get all the information he needs to piece everything together. And if he gets the Maltese Falcon, that also means Shaughnessy is going to get stuck. It is also going to have to fess up to tell the truth, because if he gets the Maltese Falcon, he'll have everyone by the short hairs, and he could get he can finally figure out who killed Miles.
Yeah.
And a lot of what happens after this is just good old fashioned fun noir mystery solving, going to the docks and talking to police officers who come in and who are like roughing him up, and Joel Cairo comes back and like has to like lie to the cops and gets taken away, and people get shot, and there's a lot that happens after this.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, what happens, searching for the Maltese Falcon. It's a lot of just fun and games, just screenwriting terms, just fun and games. Things are happening. It almost doesn't matter so much, because it's so fun watching Bogart just do stuff on screen.
Run around.
Just run around.
And, oh, hey, look, the ship that carried the Maltese Falcon, it's on fire now.
Exactly.
It's like, I forgot about that. I was like, oh, yeah, the ship catches fire.
The ship catches fire, and then it's like Shaughnessy calls in and it's like, hey, the guy you sent to go grab the package from the boat, he just got shot running out the window, and oh my God. And
cue the scream, and then the phone dies.
And the phone dies, and a lot of fun action stuff happens, but I think this goes into like the star quality that is Humphrey Bogart, right? Is we can just watch him just do stuff, and it's engaging to look at.
It's entertaining.
But it all leads up to the final confrontation, right? Sorry, we're skipping over a lot of stuff. There's a lot of betrayal and plot stuff that happens. Watch the movie. But the thing is that happens near the end is my favorite part of the movie. I love watching this movie. It's so much fun, but I love when all of our players are now at the Sam's apartment. They're all at Sam's apartment, and Sam's laying out what's going on, and he's like, look, you're going to give me $10,000 and you're going to get the Falcon. But if you're going to do that, you need to pick one of your men, Gutman, to go down for the murder of Thursby. They're like, what the fuck do you mean? And he's like, that's part of the deal. And Gutman is like, well, sorry, Wilmer. get fucked, and then you have to knock Wilmer out. But I love it because it's all taking place in this room, and it's like 20, 30 fucking minutes just in Sam's apartment of just these actors going ham, just playing the best tough guys, the best villains, the betrayals. Shaughnessy is like crying and being hysterical and be like, no, I couldn't have done this and that. Okay, maybe I did do that. Okay, maybe we'll not worry about that, and I'll cry again. And it's all the tropes and everything just bunched together because the Falcon is like on its way because Effie has the bird, the bundle, and she's gonna bring it. And you know the scene is just like so engaging, even though it's taking place in like one room.
Yeah.
Right. But we get the Falcon that comes in. Right. It's the bird. It's the package. It's wrapped in twine and newspaper.
We're finally going to see it.
We're finally going to see it. And they tear it open, and it's like, there it is. And everyone marvels at this fucking thing. And I'm like, that's a cool looking statue. Oh, man, I really wish we had one of those. Man, I really wish it was on its way as we speak because we ordered it for this episode, and it just came late. I really wish that was a thing that was happening.
I mean, it's like literal steps from my door right now.
But I digress. So they open it up and everyone's marveling. And it's like the Maltese Falcon, and it's cast in. I think they said it was supposed to be like cast in like something over it, to hide the jewels and everything. And Gutman takes a pocket knife out and just starts like
hacking it,
because he's trying to like scrape everything away so he can get to the jewels underneath. And everyone's like waiting with bated breath. Shaughnessy is like, oh my God, are we finally gonna get to see it? Cairo is like, finally, the riches. And Gutman's like, we're gonna make a mint. And Wilbur's knocked unconscious because he's the fall guy for all these murders. And they realize the fucking Maltese Falcon that at this point in the movie, 4 people have been murdered over it. 4 people have been murdered for it. Countless amounts of money have been spent to hunt it down. The 17 years on Gutman's and Cairo's part. Sam falling for Shaughnessy and having to restructure his whole life because Miles died. And the bird is a fake. It's made of fucking lead.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, it's over. And I love this because this is the first time we see Gutman like sweat.
Yeah.
Right?
Because he's been cool as a cucumber this entire time.
He's been cool and calm and collected, and everything's been going to plan, Sam. And it's the final breakdown. Cairo breaks down in tears. He's like, you stupid, fat, stupid, imbecile, stupid. And he runs off and starts crying. And Shaughnessy like just collapses onto the couch, and she's just like, I can't believe this is happening. And Gutman is like standing there sweating, stunned. He's like, 17 years searching for this bird. Well, one more year of search and then another year of tracking it down again. We can keep searching. We can keep going again. And it takes a sec. I love watching Green Street like just work right there, just in silence in this like. It's basically like a wide of just him standing there, just working through his head. And you can see the wheels turning of him being like, we'll get on a boat to Istanbul and then we'll start again. Yes, we'll start back at the bazaar and we'll track it down from there. Just working through the plan because he doesn't want the adventure to end.
I mean, who would?
Right? He wants to be Indiana Jones.
Yeah. And
this is great because juxtaposing this with everyone freaking out is Sam with the shit-eating grin, counting his fucking money, that 10 grand that Gutman paid him to bring the bird. And Sam's like, doesn't matter to me. I didn't want the bird to begin with, but I think I figured out all I needed to figure out. And then Gutman's like, well, we'll be out of your hair then. And Gutman like takes the money back from Sam at gunpoint. And they're like, well, where'd Wilmer go? And Sam's like, well, Wilmer hopped out the fucking window. Well, you guys were freaking out, so he's gone. So Cairo and Gutman leave, and it's just Shaughnessy and Sam. And
Sam makes sure to take $100
for expenses. And Sam calls the cops immediately, and they go to catch Cairo and Wilmer and Gutman, and then he has the cops. They're gonna come to his door, and then it's him and Shaughnessy. And throughout the movie, they're supposed to have this romance going on, which weakest part of the film.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just not convincing.
I mean, I think you hit it pretty good on the head when you said that she came more off as a damsel in distress versus the femme fatale.
Well, I think that's her game. She is a woman who is deceitful, who is pulling a lot of strings, who is more dangerous than she lets on. But her outward exterior is, I'm a damsel in distress, and I'm preying on you, Sam Spade, to have the morals to protect me.
To save me, save me.
Save me, save me, protect me, Sam. And I love the transformation here when Sam is like, honey, I'm not that good of a guy. Like, I'll, in 20 years, because I know you shot Miles, because Thursby, he was in the hotel, and Gutman and them, they killed Thursby because they thought he had the Falcon. Miles was tailing somebody, but he was looking for you, and you shot him at the boardwalk, and now you're going to go wait for it. And she's like, but Sam, it was a mistake. I had to do it. I had to do it. That might be, but I'll let you know. I love you. Oh, really, Sam? Really? Yeah. And when they let you out in 20 years, I'll be waiting. And then she goes, but Sam, wait, what? And it just drops. Like, her, like damsel in distress, like, please save, it just drops. And that's the glimpse of, like, the real cold-hearted, like woman underneath all of it.
That is the femme fatale.
That's the femme fatale. When she starts playing on Sam being like, come on, we have something. You love me, right? And Sam's like,
I'll still love you in 20 years.
I'll still love you in 20 years if they don't hang you.
And if they hang you, I'll remember you.
It's such good shit. It's such good shit. Because, again, it's great dialogue delivered by great actors. And it's the thing where you kind of feel it, where it's like Sam is like, okay, just never being happy.
Yeah.
That's kind of what he says. He's like, yeah, like, I love you. I want to spend, my life with you. But, like, I don't even know if you really love me. This might all be an act. Like, I think it is an act, but I almost don't care.
It's a gamble I'm not willing to take.
It's a gamble I'm not willing to take, and I can't let you go, because if I let you go, you'll have something to hang over me for the rest of my life.
Yep.
So, yeah, you're going to jail. And they have this, like, and I guess that's the question. Do you think Sam loved her? Do you think she loved him?
I mean, it's the 1940s, so it's a crazy time with, I saw that dame from across the room, and I knew she was the one, and we've been married for 70 years ever since.
Exactly.
How long did you start dating? We didn't. We ran to the courthouse and got married that instant. Like, really?
It happens.
These things happen. So, yeah, I think that's one of the weaker parts of the movie, this romance between the two of them, because it's just like, when did it happen? Because we're always with Sam.
Yes.
So it's not like, these stolen moments. It's just, no.
There's no buildup of relationship. It really is like Sam is like, she pushes Sam to a position of a protector of her, and she's leveraging her sexuality to it to an extent, right? I mean, Sam's like, you don't have any money. What? You don't have any money. I'm not going to help you at all. And she's like, well, is there anything I can do? And then he lays one on her, right? And it's just like, oh, well, okay. So, I guess that's payment, I suppose. And it's like the weakest part of the movie, but it's like so needed because you need it for the end to work. And the ending of this movie is great because the cops show up. They're like, all right, what happened? And Sam lays it out. He's like, she did it. She did it. She killed Miles. Here's the money they paid me to bribe him. Here's the gun she used to do it.
And here's the bird.
And here's the bird. And Sam like lays it all out. He's like, I'm not taking anything from this. The only thing Sam got out of this entire mystery, he got no riches, he got no woman, he got no love or good. He got misery, a dead partner, and a lot of lost time. It's a sad, downbeat ending. And then they're like, hey, and then they're dragging around. They're like,
because they have to take the evidence.
They take the evidence.
They take her. They take the gun and everything. And they're like, oh, what's that thing on the desk?
And Sam goes up and he touches the bird and he's like, this is the stuff dreams are made of. And the music swells up. They walk out. She, like, the gate on the elevator closes on O'Shaughnessy like a prison bar. It goes down and Sam walks down the stairs.
And this is when you expect, here's looking at you, kid.
yes, you're expecting like maybe one last like look at her, maybe like that's we could have had something great or something. But the last line, right? The stuff dreams are made of.
Yes.
That line is considered one of the best lines in like cinema history. Warner Brothers literally changed its
slogan
to the stuff dreams are made of.
Yeah.
Which great line. Great logo, great whatever. But it is a thing where I believe it was improv by Humphrey Bogart because it's from The Tempest, I believe.
Yes.
And I think it was a thing where they were like, oh, there was like a little bit of like a longer monologue at the end where he kind of like laid his stuff out, where it was gonna be the like, we could have had something great, we could have blah blah, and he's like, John, there's too much chutzpah here.
Well, it was also a thing where they were saying that whenever Humphrey Bogart was delivering his monologues, he was just kind of dragging.
Yeah.
And it was in the production notes that he needed to speed things up. So I think that was probably towards the end. Maybe we could just drop one last great line and we'll cut.
Yeah, we'll cut the monologue out, just give us like a good one-liner and we'll call it. And I mean, the line's perfect. And I'm wondering why it works so well. Because, what is the Maltese Falcon? It's the stuff dreams are made of. And it goes into almost the theme of like what the movie's been going to. Because the Maltese Falcon is a quest item. Like, it's a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. It's the thing, like, Gutman has spent 17 years searching for it. For the money, I guess. But he seems to have, like, plenty.
Yeah.
For like fame and fortune but it's a thing where it's like they just want the Maltese Falcon so they can have it because it's like this treasured mystical item that they're never gonna get because they're gonna all go to jail. Sam's the only one that stays out, and it's like the Maltese Falcon. It is Hitchcock's MacGuffin.
Yeah.
It's not real. It's just a thing to propel the plot forward, but it's a thing that these characters want. It's the thing that like people want. It's an unobtainable thing or idea that drives us forward. And I think that's why the line just hits so fucking hard, and it's delivered by like the top 3 greatest movie stars of all fucking time.
And it's a thing where
gangster as fuck.
Where if you take the tour at Warner Brothers and you are driving around the back lot and they have that video playing, that opening package that shows you everything that's been filmed there, and you hear Humphrey Bogart's voice saying, this is the stuff that dreams are made of on the streets where he walked, where so many greats walked. Like you said before, the hair on your arms goes up because it's just
gangster as fuck. Exactly.
It's magic.
It is. And it's kind of the thing, like last month we talked about The Wizard of Oz, right?
Yeah.
There's some movies that we joke just like, oh, movies are blessed by the movie gods.
Lightning in a bottle.
Lightning in a bottle. Blessed by the movie gods. It does not matter like the flaws in them or whatever. They just enrapture you. They are just engaging. They are just fun. They're just enthralling. There's something about it that you just can't like look away from, and that's the Maltese Falcon. It's a thing where it's like classic Hollywood movies just had a quality to them that they got it, they got the thing that David Lean said where film is kind of a dream, where you get the impression of this reality that is just beautiful, and you just, god damn it, I want to live in this fucking movie. It's so fucking good. I love the Maltese Falcon. And a lot of people did too, because this movie, the budget for this film, would you want to take a shot? How much did this cost in 1941?
41.
I guess 1940 is when. Well, no, it probably was 41.
It probably was 41, yeah.
The turnover on these. This movie was probably written, shot, and released in 2 weeks. God damn it. The studios turned shit out fast back then.
What a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive.
I'm going to guess 20 grand.
No. So, $375,000.
Okay.
You have a lot of like named actors. Well, I guess not named actors, but you have a lot of actors with a lot of speaking lines, and the sets probably weren't cheap, and the extras probably weren't cheap. But $375,000. But it then makes $2 million at the box office in 1941. That's pretty fucking good.
Yeah,
it's pretty damn good. But it was also not only a commercial hit, critical hit, nominated for 3 Oscars, including Best Picture, including Best Supporting Actor for Green Street and Best Screenplay for John Huston. Loses all of them.
It happens, unfortunately.
I know. And it lost out to How Green Was My Valley
Ooh.
by John Ford for Best Picture. It loses to Donald Crisp also for How Green Was My Valley and Best Screenplay for How Green Was My Valley. Now, I say that, and people out there who might know some movie history, there was another movie that was nominated for a bunch of Oscars that year. I think it was like 9 Oscars that year, that also was a directorial debut. And it's a director that we've talked about before on the podcast. We talked about his third film, but the movie that came out this year was
it Citizen Kane?
It was Citizen fucking Kane. Fucking Citizen Kane. The feeling when you make the Maltese fucking Falcon as your fucking directorial debut and you're like, I'm the greatest debut director of this fucking decade. Orson Welles makes Citizen Kane. Okay, the best of this year, same year. Well, fuck me sideways.
Hold my beer.
Hold my fucking... For fucking real. Okay, I love Citizen Kane. I've gone over this. Brandon thinks I'm a fucking pretentious moron, but I love Citizen Kane. And it's like, then there's the Maltese Falcon, and I'm like, fucking Sophie's Choice. Which do I love better? Because we talked about that when we talked about The Stranger.
Yes.
Right?
Good movie. Really good movie.
Really good movie. But it's the thing where it's like, Orson Welles and John Huston, right? They are guys that debut at the same time. They both have a vision. They're both telling different stories than mainstream Hollywood. Orson Welles does basically creates a whole new way of telling cinematic stories in Citizen Kane, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the first guys to do full storyboards, to do this interconnected generational fucking flashback structured screenplay, the deep focus, the shadows and everything. You have John Huston, more complex characters.
Mm-hmm.
He's also drawing from the inspirations of European cinema with the noir lightings and things like that. And another deep focus thing. It's the thing where it's these two guys come out of the gate. Oh my God, Hollywood has now changed. They give, granted, they give Best Picture to John Ford because John fucking Ford, all right? Yeah, he's going to get Best Picture.
And I mean, How Green Was My Valley is a great film too.
Yeah, is it as good as Citizen Kane and Maltese Falcon? Hold my beer. But that's the thing. It is fascinating that these two guys both debut in the same year.
Yeah.
They are both telling new and interesting stories. And John Huston knew how to play politics and continued to make movies in the studio system for decades to come. And Orson Welles says, fuck them after 3 movies and goes off to Europe to do other things. And it's just interesting that there is a parallel between Orson Welles and John Huston here. And it all comes back to Maltese Falcon, Citizen Kane, 1941. I just love that Oscars.
If you guys could only see the smile on Dean's face right now.
I love the 41 Oscars because it is the greatest example of, wait, that one? What else was, what the fuck? And then, wait, that was also nominated? Holy shit. And neither of them fucking won Best Picture. It is fascinating.
It's like the 70s.
No, the 70s, well, depends. Because 70s has a couple of years that are straight killers.
Yeah.
Straight, the Godfather 2 year, the Godfather year. You have One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest year. There's a lot of banger years in the 70s, but I just love that whole thing where it's Citizen Kane's and Maltese Falcon came out the same year. That's kind of insane. Great year to be at the pictures.
Yes, the moving pictures.
The stuff dreams are made of.
Stuff that dreams are made of.
But that is more or less the Maltese Falcon.
Yes, it is.
And I just want to know, does this change your mind on remakes? Now that you know that the Maltese Falcon, a Stone Cold classic, was in fact a remake twice over.
I think it's going to, make my argument stronger for, book adaptations that go into film. Follow the book. Just follow the book.
Even if it's convoluted.
Even, if it's a bit of a stretch, just follow the book. But, yeah, I mean, I think this is one of the rare exceptions where a remake surpassed...
The original.
The original. I mean, I'd like to see the first 2 original just to see,
what
what's
they
there.
are.
Yeah, just to say, I've seen the Maltese Falcon in all its versions. I know that they did a sequel to this Maltese Falcon because they wanted to continue the story. So they have a couple of the characters from this film in that film.
Well, what is it? Dashiell Hammett wrote a few Sam Spade novels, so there's more than one.
He did, but he was also like, no, this was good. Let's keep it like this. I know that Warner Brothers purchased the rights to the Maltese Falcon, but he was like, I own the characters, so good luck with that. And yeah, just leave it the way it is.
I see.
It's chef's kiss.
It is pure fucking Kino.
So much Kino. We don't know what to do with all the Kino that's in this room
It's
right now.
pure uncut Hollywood Kino.
Also, if you're wondering, the bundle has arrived, and my secretary has secured it.
The Maltese Falcon has arrived. Look out for that on Instagram. We might post it.
I am so excited to tear that box open.
But yeah, the Maltese Falcon. Any, I guess, final thoughts to the question we asked to begin with? Is this a film movement? Is this a genre?
Or do we save that for the very end of the month?
I mean, we will. I think, developing ideas, because this is a good argument that it's almost a movement, because Orson Welles and John Huston, they're both kind of thinking ideas, more complicated characters. We're going into a darker period of like American history, with the war coming and things that are going to develop. It's starting to feel like this is the bubblings of like a new thing going on. It's kind of like the back-to-back of like The Graduate and Easy Rider the same year, where, okay, Hollywood's starting to change and there's this new thing happening, right? But it's also hard to argue that the next couple films we talk to are not directly riffing on the Maltese Falcon.
No. We're going to jump a little bit, 10 years to be exact. Because Maltese Falcon is 41 and our next film is 51.
Correct.
So we're going to do a 10-year jump. We're going to see how noir has changed in 10 years.
Once it's finally really solidified.
Yes, because this is, kind of the infancy of noir. We're going to get a lot of, James Cagney. It's going to be Bogart, Cagney, Edward G. Robinson.
The guys who used to do the old gangster stuff in the 30s, they're evolving into being noir characters, right?
Noir is going to be our bread and butter in the Hollywood system.
Yeah, Robert Mitchum is going to make a lot of noirs in the 50s. Yeah. It's an evolving genre.
But I love this movie.
Or movement. Who knows? Evolving movement.
We will figure it out by the end of the month, hopefully. Or we still might be, deadlocked. We might not know. Is it a movement? Is it a style? Who knows?
Yes.
But, this movie is so influential. It's inspired so many, sitcoms and other movies. I recently got my mom into Castle. Castle's been off the air for like maybe 10 years or so now.
Yeah.
But in the series, there's an episode called The Blue Butterfly. And it is a total rip of the Maltese Falcon. It is my favorite Castle episode because it's just, it's that pulp and we're searching for this piece of treasure, but is it really worth it? What happens when we find the treasure? It's like, does it really matter? This thing kind of just landed in our lives and uprooted us, but for what? What does it mean?
Yeah, I mean,
see?
Yeah, what does it mean? See? It's the thing where, I think that's like the beauty of those old pulpy like detective stories, the stuff like a lot of noir films are like based off of, is they all subscribe to the idea that like the plot structure, right? Like the Maltese Falcon is a well-structured movie. Things happen at the right pace and the right time, and you invest in it, and I know I'm talking a lot about, the plot doesn't make a lot of sense, it's weird, whatever. I'm being a little hyperbolic. You can follow it along, but it doesn't, like, the details don't matter.
Yeah, because,
really.
There's not, like, a lot of foundation where we see Spade and Archer in action.
There's, like, a scene.
Yeah, it's just, okay, we open in their office, and O'Shaughnessy shows up, and she kind of is the catalyst that starts the series of events that are about to happen from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie. So we don't have a lot of, background on who our protagonist is.
If this was a modern film, the first 15, 20 minutes would be Archer and Sam like showing their relationship. They would be on a case together. Sam would, like, they would have to split up to go take care of something, and then Miles would get shot.
Perfect example, apart from Castle, I was trying to think, other things that have been inspired by this movie that we've seen recently. Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah, well, Who Framed Roger Rabbit is almost like a direct plot parallel to the last movie we'll be talking about in this month.
Yes, but
We'll
also,
talk to that.
Jack, if you're listening, hey, Jack, we went to go see Who Framed Roger Rabbit with Jack at the Frida.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's interesting to see that a movie that came out in 1941 is still so inspiring to filmmakers, screenwriters, little people like us that just, we love old Hollywood and we love to create, whatever we can on the small scale that we have.
Yeah, and I mean, The Maltese Falcon is just a phenomenal movie.
Yeah.
5 stars, would recommend.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I can't wait to keep talking about Noir Month, but what are we talking about next week?
Next week, we're talking about a movie that you have never seen before. I have only seen once. This was a movie that my mom brought to me. She just randomly found it on a whim and said, hey, this is, pretty much you all over. It is called Hollywood Story.
Hollywood Story. Okay, so
it is a William Castle film.
Oh, Lord. William Castle. Last time we talked about him was House on Haunted Hill, I believe.
Yes, and that was, I think, our first year of the podcast?
Yes. For those who don't know, William Castle was one of the most famous Hollywood showmen. I wouldn't even know if you would call him a Hollywood showman. He was this guy who got really good at marketing low budget, cheesy, kind of schlocky horror films, sci-fi films, whatever, by doing these big opening nights where it's like, oh, you're about to go see the 13th Ghost? Well, you must sign your life insurance before you enter. And he would create these big media buzzes around his movies.
They'd have, skeletons flying through the theater. I mean, he
would pay actors to have heart attacks halfway through the showing to freak everybody out. He was a showman, he's like an old circus showman.
He was the king of marketing before there was marketing.
Yes. And he also would go on to produce Rosemary's Baby, The More You Know.
The more you know. But yeah, we will be talking about Hollywood Story. I hope you enjoy it. I think once you watch it, you'll understand why it is a boo movie. It is one of the ones where you're like, yep, that's her, written all over. But Richard Conte is in it, Julie Adams, Richard Egan, Fred Clark. So yeah, we'll be talking about that next week.
And if you wanted to listen to that episode, where could they go?
If you want to listen to us on a different platform than you currently are, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and YouTube.
And if you want to follow us on YouTube, you can go to our YouTube channel, The Film Vault. That is The Film Vault on YouTube. You can like, comment, and subscribe there and check out our vast catalog of slideshow episodes, video episodes, like the Wizard of Oz. We were on camera talking in that one.
We were.
And if you wanted to also check out the other things we're working on, you can go to the Felix on Mars YouTube channel where we post the short films that we worked on and the other guests of this podcast have made in our tenure here. But if you want to follow our social media, you can go to
the Film Club Podcast on Instagram, where we post upcoming episodes, random adventures we're going on. We're going to be talking about a lot of old Hollywood movies, and we might have some pictures of, Hollywood now. And it hasn't really changed too much.
Not too much. But with that,
we'll see you next week at the Film Club.
Have a good week, everybody.